and services to get your packages there safely. Don't miss out on the latest laptops, up to 45% off. Staples, that was easy.
The Aztecs for Life blood drive continues, live from Viejas Arena.
It's the largest collegiate blood drive in the state.
Back to John and Jim.
All right, again, this blood drive, the Aztecs for Life blood drive going on right now. Walk-ins welcome, or make an appointment right now. GoAztecs.com/blood drive. It's going on until 6 p.m. It is great to connect right now with Ryan Badrtalei, San Diego State men's basketball. He's an assistant on the staff of Brian Dutcher, and the Aztecs are off to a 2-0 start. And Ryan back with us right now on John and Jim from Viejas Arena. Coach, great to see you. Thanks for hanging out this afternoon.
Yeah, great to be here. I appreciate you guys having me. It's fun to be here in Viejas, and especially on a day where it's such a great cause to be in Viejas and not be practicing, but we sacrifice our gym for something that's so great like this.
Yeah, it's always unique to see it when it's not set up for basketball, but today, again, making a difference in our community with the blood drive. Let's talk about this men's basketball team off to a 2-0 start. A little bit of a layoff here to get ready for Troy Tuesday night right here at Viejas Arena. Just the 30,000-foot view, how you feel about what you've seen from the team 2 games into the season.
Yeah, I feel like we're making progress. I mean, I think that's the most important thing as you go through the early part of the season is if you see, consistent progress as you go along. And we were fortunate to play those 2 exhibition games because it gave us a real good feel for what our team would look like under the lights in front of, fans. And every single team that we played gave us a little bit of something different, which is a huge benefit in each one of those games. And I feel from the Long Beach State game to the Idaho State game, we improved. We made progress. We got exposed in different ways in both those games, and we came out the other side of it with a week and a half or so to prepare for our next opponent. And we took Monday off after we played Sunday, and then our cadence has been these 3 days this week of really focusing on us, putting some new stuff in. We may be adding a new personnel this week that we hadn't seen so far, and so some of that, and then we have tomorrow off. And then we'll really start, locking in on Troy and what we have, moving forward towards that game. Who's a heck of an opponent. Yep. I mean, they, consistently a 20-win team, a coach that has had a ton of success, and so we know we're going to have our hands full.
You didn't have him for the opener, but he returned, making his season debut, first time in over a year because he didn't play last year. I'm talking about Reese Dixon-Waters, and he led the team in scoring last game against Idaho State. Just adding a player like that to the fold to already a deep team, just what does that do for the dynamic of your team here going forward the rest of the season?
Well, first off, we're just so happy for him. And I think it was awesome to hear the ovation of the crowd in here when he got announced, and just proud of him and the commitment he's made to getting healthy and to studying the game and doing all the things that he could do in his control, and then obviously having a player of his caliber to add to the mix in terms of the threat that he is offensively, both as a shooter and a decision maker, but he's really stepped his game up on the defensive side of the ball. Like he's taken a ton of pride in being a guy that we can count on defensively consistently, and he's shown that in practice, and so it's both sides of the ball with him, which is, as much as anything, we're super proud of. But to add a player with his experience, his winning pedigree, you can't even explain the value of that to our team.
Ryan Badrtalei is with us, Aztec men's basketball assistant. San Diego State, Troy, Tuesday night, Viejas Arena. You can hear it on San Diego Sports 760. If tickets remain, you can grab them at GoAztecs.com. 2-part Magoon-Gwath question, one of which is, how different will the team look with him on the floor? We've seen it obviously before, but it's been a while. And secondly, how different will Magoon look at this point in his career? Obviously bouncing back from an injury, but as he evolves, what do you expect to see out of Magoon as he moves forward compared to what we saw last year from him?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell just without having actual minutes under his belt, and the fact that he's only really been live with us for the last 2 weeks in terms of being in practice and what that looks like with this group. Because you add new pieces to a group, and then you add Magoon to it, and it's like adding new ingredients to a totally different recipe. And so it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. In terms of what he's looked like so far in practice. I mean, what he looks like. He adds a different element out there on both sides of the ball. The one thing people don't realize about Magoon is how smart of a basketball player he is. I think that's why he improved at the rate that he did last year, is because he took all those experiences, and it was like a software update every time. It's he took the experiences and he was able to turn those into opportunities for him, and I'm excited to see what that looks like moving forward. Now he's got to get his rhythm back and what it looks like when he's out there running up and down and with the crowd and actual fatigue and all that kind of stuff. But I know that he'll again take all the experiences that he has, whatever that looks like early in the year, and compound those things into more and more progress. I mean, that's the one. If obviously nobody wanted to see him get injured, but not having him this spring and summer to really develop him as much was probably the only the downside for him, because I think he could have been so much further ahead. But I'm so impressed with where he is, given the fact that he was out. Like he looks good. He looks strong. He's got confidence, which I think is as important as anything for anybody coming off an injury. Is just, do you have confidence? Are you worried about things? And he's not worried about anything. He's out there and he's confident and he knows he's a guy, which is great to see. And and everybody on our team knows that he's that guy too, and so that's the beauty of it, and that's why he's integrating so well into this group.
LZ Harrington's been, for me, really impressive for the first 2 games. Being a true freshman, well, what's your I guess assessment of LZ's first 2 games here for you guys?
Yeah, I mean he's coming along really well. I don't think anybody's surprised by his talent, but you never really know what it looks like when he's actually out there in a college game. He seems comfortable. He doesn't seem sped up. He knows the things that he needs to get better at. There's a lot of freshmen that I think are a little bit hard-headed in terms of, I think I'm further along in this area than I am. He's got unbelievable maturity in terms of knowing where his deficiencies are, where he has to grow. He's watching film every day. He's in the gym every day. He's working on his game. And I think that equates to the progress that he's made. And a little bit similar to Magoon, I think he'll take all these experiences and learn from, because he's got a great brain. I mean, he really understands the game. Like I said, he knows where he needs to improve, and he's fighting to improve in those areas. And some of them is just going to take time and experience. But it's great to see him hit the ground running, see him have impact with this team, and it'll be interesting to see how much impact he has, continuing to move forward, because I think the sky's the limit for him. And whether it's, a game from now, 6 games from now, next year, whatever it is, he's just going to keep getting better. And so that's we're excited about that.
Ryan Badrtalei with us right now. You mentioned Troy earlier, Tuesday's opponent. I tell anyone that asks me, I just tell anyone like at a grocery store, I'm like, Troy's really good. You don't know the name. They're not a Southern California program. They don't play in a Power 4 league, but it's a team that could absolutely win their league. They've gotten off to a good start with good wins. And you've got this unique situation where you'll play Troy, and then on the other side of it, a few days later, you're going to Las Vegas for this Players Era Festival. This is a big-time game, right? Coming up Tuesday night here in terms of what this presents for this basketball team.
Man, this Troy team is really good, and they present a lot of problems. The one thing I'll give Scott Cross credit for, the head coach, I mean, he's 4 20-win seasons. He went to the tournament last year. Yep. Everywhere he's been, he's won. He was at UT Arlington before, and now he's at Troy. And he recruits players that fit the way he wants to play. I mean, they're a 5-out team, though. They shoot 30-plus threes a game. They're dangerous offensively, and they do enough different things defensively to try to kind of throw you off rhythm. And so it's a more than formidable opponent. And they're coming on the West Coast to play 4 games, which is interesting. I've been in those shoes to have to go and play all these games, and for them, as much as anything, is playing against us is a measure of where their season could potentially go. And so they come in here and they look at us and say, okay, if we can beat this team or compete against this team, it makes us valid, and so not that they need that anyways, but they're obviously really good. And so you look at their KenPom, they're a top 100 team. They're picked to win their conference. I mean, I can say a million things about them. They're really, really good, and they're really well coached.
And after this, we get to the NIL tournament in Las Vegas. How important is it to make sure that you guys are focused on Troy here and you don't look ahead? Because I mean, once you get to the NIL tournament, you got Michigan, Oregon, like that's when things are going to be, at the highest of competition level. So how are you guys making sure that, okay, we're not looking past Troy here, because after Troy, we got some pretty enticing matchups for us?
Well, fortunately, we have a mature team. We understand every game matters. We understand that if we don't beat Air Force, we don't go to the NCAA tournament. And so it's games like that make or break your season in a lot of ways sometimes. And every game is really important. And this team's mantra has been like, we have to stack days. Like every day is super important. We can't skip days. Even a week like this where we have a bunch of practices before we play. Like every practice has to be great. Every practice is an opportunity for us to get better, to improve, to build chemistry, especially as we're integrating Magoon back into the the mix. And so this game is just like that. I mean, it's another opportunity for us to affirm who we are, build our identity, build our chemistry, and to compete at the highest level. And you get to play in Viejas. You don't take those opportunities for granted. You get to play at home before we go on the road for 3. Enjoy every night that you have in here and protect home court. That's got to be our mentality and our focus. Now, the coaches, we have me, JD, Dave, AG, Dutch. We have a text message all the time. Watching Oregon last night, watching Michigan 2 nights ago.
Wake Forest,
so was John.
Yeah, that whole game.
We're watching all these games, and so we're aware of what's going on.
Yep.
We know what those problems are, but our biggest focus is to make sure that our team stays as focused as we can on the task at hand, which is every day you got to wake up, you got to go to class, you got to handle, take care of your business, you got to practice as well as you can, because the practice is the most important part of our day. We have to win those days every day, and that's the only chance. I tell the guys all the time, that's the way we can find out how good we can be. If we're just looking too far ahead at what's next, we'll lose sight of all these days, and we won't get where we all want to go.
100%. Ryan Badrtalei, we're looking forward to Tuesday night, the Players Era Festival, to follow that as well. Again, the Aztecs and Troy, Tuesday night, Viejas Arena. Tickets at goaztecs.com. Ryan, great to see you, my friend.
Great to
see you
guys.
Tuesday night.
Appreciate you guys.